Good morning, everyone. This week we begin the story of Joseph and his brothers. For the next 4 weeks we're going to read about Joseph, and it all starts with the jealousy and how the brothers throw him into a pit, and then he's sold into slavery, and then he's accused falsely in Egypt of a crime, and he's thrown into prison. But ultimately he interprets the dreams, becomes the viceroy of Egypt, and reunites his family. And when his brothers stand before him and he reveals his identity, he says, "I am Joseph, your brother." Now, what's remarkable about Joseph is that in every phase and every stage of his ordeal, he never sees himself as a victim. Although he's victimized, he never adopts victimhood. And so when he is a slave in Egypt, he becomes successful. He becomes trusted by his master with everything. When he's in prison, it says the warden sees that everything he does is successful, so he makes him in charge of all the other prisoners. When he sees the butler and the baker look sad, he says, "How are you? You don't look happy today. How can I help you?" And he interprets their dreams. He's not sitting around pitying himself, feeling sorry for himself, feeling like a victim, but he's proactive in trying to help and do the best under the circumstances. And then when he becomes viceroy of Egypt, and the brothers come before him, and he reveals his identity, and they're ashamed, they're embarrassed to face him, he says the most remarkable words. He says, "You didn't send me into Egypt. God sent me here. I had a purpose, I had a plan, I had a mission. God sent me as an ambassador of His to save the entire country and the land and the region and my own family from famine by interpreting Pharaoh's dreams and storing the food." The ultimate mentality of the victor, not the victim. You have no power to harm me. It was God's divine plan. And Joseph represents the Jewish people. You know, we're watching so much anti-Semitism. We're watching how there is no sympathy or empathy for the Jewish people. How could it be that all these progressive liberal groups who take on and champion the cause of every minority, every oppressed, every persecuted group, don't take on the cause of Jews? Yesterday we saw 3 presidents of major universities who couldn't say that calling for genocide of Jews on campus is harassment and bullying. They would stand up for Black Lives Matter. They would stand up for other minorities. Why not for the Jewish people? If there is ever a nation on earth that has been the victim of oppression and persecution, it's clearly the Jewish people. So why are they not standing with us? And perhaps the answer is because we as Jews never see ourselves as victims, and we haven't projected an image of victimhood. And so they don't see us as the victims, they see us as the victors, because we overcome every oppression and every persecution. We always claim victory at the end and outlive all our enemies, like starting tomorrow night with the story of Hanukkah. The small band of brave Maccabees defeated the mighty Syrian Greek armies. And they stood up with courage and faith, just like the IDF is doing today. And therefore the world doesn't see us as victims, because we don't see ourselves as victims. Story I read that on October 7th there was a couple. His name is Ben Binyamin and her name is Gali Segel, and they went to the rave festival down south, and tragically when the event started to unfold, they ran into a temporary shelter that they found to find protection, and a terrorist threw a grenade into the shelter that they were hiding in, the bomb shelter, and it exploded and they passed out. And when they woke up, they were in darkness and chaos, and they were rescued by the IDF and taken to the hospital. And Ben Binyamin didn't know what happened to his girlfriend, his fiancée, that he was engaged to be married to. And as he was being rolled into Tel HaShomer hospital, he sees his fiancée, Gali, in another bed, and she sees him, and they cry out with relief and joy that they both survived, and they reach out to touch each other's hands as his bed is being rolled through the hallway. Well, tragically, both of them lost a leg in the explosion. They both lost their right leg, remaining with only their left leg. And now they've gone through multiple surgeries, and they are both in Tel HaShomer Rehab Center in Israel, learning how to once again walk with one leg to regain their strength. And they were interviewed, and they said, some days we feel sad. We say, look, I'm not the same person. I only have one leg. And especially Ben Binyamin, he was an athlete. He loved playing soccer. That was his favorite sport. And he says, I looked out the window of my hospital. I saw a soccer field. I started crying because I knew I'll never be able to play soccer again. But he said, other days I look and I say, thank God I only lost the leg. I'm alive. And now they're both going through rehab. And they said in the interview, we're blessed that we are in the rehab with so many others, but we have something, that we have a blessing, that we have each other. We have our love. And we are looking forward to the day that we will get married. We are planning our wedding. And we still don't know the date, and we don't know the location. But we do know that we will walk down the aisle with one real leg and one prosthetic leg. But we also know that we will walk down with each other hand in hand. We will support each other. We will love each other. And with that love, we will go on to live a full, fulfilling life. This is the mindset of living with goals, with visions, with dreams, with ideals. Like Joseph, he had his dreams and he pursued those dreams. And that allowed him to not only overcome every adversity, but to never see himself as a victim, but to see himself as an ambassador of God, sent with a purpose and a mission. Have a wonderful day.